My friends, good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to propose this. A committed love is not easily shaken by circumstances. It is committed. It's lasting, no matter what. That's its nature. Circumstances change in our lives, but committed love does not. It remains. Now, when I was an associate pastor at St. Joseph's Basilica in Webster, Massachusetts, many moons ago, I would make sure to be outside our parish school every day, if I could, greeting families as they were picking up their kids after school. And now, as I think about that, I realize that, these parents, some of them had really good day, or some of them had really a bad day on one particular day. And so did the kids. Some had the best day at school. They behaved well. And some, I could see it on their faces, boy, sometimes they struggled. And yet, that didn't matter. The parents still showed up. They picked them up and then take them to probably a million different sports and activities throughout the rest of the day. Day in and day out. They are committed to them. It's a committed love. It's not altered easily by circumstances. Even when the kids misbehave, as it sometimes happens, the parents still show up at 3 p.m., they pick them up, they take them home. Now, to me, it is as close as it comes to God's love. God's committed love. In today's gospel, Jesus says to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love." Notice that Jesus describes his relationship with God as a relationship between a father and a son, a parent and a child. And maybe for a reason. Now, in the Gospel of John, we are told that Jesus loved his disciples to the end. To the end, the way God the Father loved Jesus. To the end, when he was on the cross. committed love, constant, always there. So God's love for us is a committed love, I would suggest, unshaken by circumstances. It is without limit. It is constant. Anthony de Mello, an Indian Jesuit, once said, "You don't need to change for God to love you." Now, you and I, we may consider changing because it is good for us, or maybe the people around us, and something needs to change. Yet God's love does not depend on me changing. God's love is constant. God never says to us, "Oh, I wish you were like so-and-so." He is always there to pick us up, so to speak, from the school at 3 p.m. Day in and day out, no matter how the day went. God is always there to pick us up at 3 p.m. I find this powerful. See, I believe that all of us, certainly including myself, desire to be loved unconditionally. Deep down, we do. No strings attached. No matter how the day went, we all desire to be loved unconditionally. And that's God's love. Yet, it is not easy to believe that I am loved unconditionally by God. Especially when you have a bad day, or something goes wrong. You lost the job you loved, or somebody got sick among your close friends or family member, or you yourself, or you find yourself in a challenging relationship or a challenging situation. And sometimes it's not that easy to believe that I am loved by God unconditionally. Yet, God is there always to pick us up at 3 o'clock from the school. Day in and day out, no matter how the day went. Jesus loves us in the worst of the days and in the best of the days, the way God loved him. Now notice this, and that's very striking. I never thought about it, until I reflected on this gospel for this weekend. Have you noticed that there is no instance in the New Testament, at least I cannot think of one, when Jesus doubted that God loved him? I don't think there is one instance where Jesus doubted for 1 second that he was loved by God. Now, in today's second reading, St. John tells us Beloved, let us love one another, because love is of God. Everyone who loves is begotten of God and knows God. So to know deep down that I am loved by God unconditionally is one thing. It is important, even if it is sometimes difficult, even when sometimes I may feel like I'm not lovable. God is still there to pick us up at 3 p.m. from the school on that day. But there is, of course, more, isn't there? It does not end with me being loved by God. It only starts there. Jesus says, remain in my love, which means remain in that conviction that you are loved by God, but it also means love one another as I have loved you. It's not just about me being loved by God. That would be kind of too self-focused. It also is about loving others. So I am called to share the love with which I am loved by God with other people. You and I, we are called to love not with any kind of love, with a specific kind of love, God's love, a committed love. Now why? Because that kind of love, Jesus tells us today in the gospel, leads to joy, to complete joy, to freedom and peace. He says, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. So today, as you leave this place of worship, we invite you to take with you 4 words, easy to remember. And kind of as you go through this week, no matter what the day will bring, ask yourself what these words mean to you. Pray with them, meditate on them. See what God is trying to tell you. And these are the 4 words. Remain in my love.